Welcome back. Let's see.
Okay, we have Linda on line 10.
Linda, huh? What's with Linda? Linda?
Hi, David.
Sad?
Yes.
What?
Well, I've been really in love with this man for a long time. And, I got a divorce from my husband, hoping he'd be there for me on the other side. And now that I'm divorced, he's nowhere around. And I'm having a hard time accepting that.
What led you to get divorced?
Well, I didn't have the world's greatest marriage in the first place. And I'd been thinking about getting a divorce for a long, long time.
Okay. But why...
So I didn't divorce him.
Wait. Why are you setting it up to make it sound like you're a victim?
I'm not a victim in this. I divorced my husband because there was nothing left in the marriage.
Okay, so that's fine. You divorced... But the way you set it up was, I divorced my husband from my boyfriend and he left me. Now I'm out in the rain.
No,
okay,
it's not exactly that way.
All right, but that's how you present it. Are you aware of that?
Probably.
Okay, so it's your presentation that tells the story. Okay? You divorced your husband and you broke up with your boyfriend.
Well, I didn't break up with him.
And you broke up with your boyfriend?
He broke up with me.
Yeah, well, you broke up. The relationship broke up.
Right.
Okay. Why did he break up with you?
I'm not exactly sure. He has never been one to say a whole lot.
Oh,
he says that he's having trouble putting the past in the past, and basically I don't know, we sort of stalled.
He's having trouble putting the past in the past. Another one of these vague guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got rid of him, too. You would have to get rid of him eventually. You were just using him to get out of the marriage, right?
No. Actually, I wasn't.
Oh.
I'd met a lot of other men.
Well, I mean...
And I'd been exposed...
What are you attracted to in a guy who can't really tell you what's going on? Why is that attractive? To be with a man who's concealing his feelings. What do you find attractive about that?
When the relationship started, it wasn't that way at all. He was... I've never been so sure of anyone in my entire life, and I don't trust easily.
Okay, so...
In fact,
So how could you be so wrong?
I don't know. That's a really good question. I'm really worried about that. I do...
I know. How could you be so wrong? Let's get some answers. You were so wrong because... Let's try this one on for size. You were so desperate to get out of the relationship, you saw him as better than he was because you needed some transitional object to attach to pull you away.
Maybe.
Yeah, you bought that right off the bat. You make life easy.
I don't totally believe it.
Why don't you believe it? It makes you saner than anything I can think of. Would you rather play it your way? Your judgments are so terribly poor. You shouldn't trust the streetlights when you cross.
Well, the funny part is I do a lot of psychic work.
What does that mean?
Professionally, and
you mean what's so strange about you? Mean you're a psychic and you read for other people?
Yeah, and
wait a second.
Well, let me finish. When I met him,
yeah.
I had never been so sure of anything in my entire life. I mean, I was 100% sure.
Wait.
He was different than anything I'd ever met.
Yeah, but you know the rule. When it comes to your own life, you cannot read things that affect you or people who affect you. You may get some sense, but insofar as it affects your heart and your needs, your psychic sense is occluded by your desperation. You cannot trust your psychic intuition unless you're not personally needy for the other person. That's when it fails you.
Well, obviously so, because he was the last thing in the world I was looking for. And when he popped into my life, it was a total surprise, a total shock.
So what kind of psychic readings do you do?
I do psychometry, tarot, bull gazing, quite a diversity.
What do you get on me?
Pardon?
How do you read me?
Somewhat skeptical, but more open to metaphysics than most.
Oh, you read that so narrow-mindedly. You talked about me in terms of the psychic phenomena, not in terms of myself.
I'm talking in terms of just metaphysics.
I didn't ask. I asked what do you read?
Read from you?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're a psychic. You should get the sense of what I'm talking about.
You want me to do a reading for you?
Right now.
Okay. You've really worked hard for a long time to get to where you are. And most of your compassion comes from a tremendous pain that you grew up with. Your childhood wasn't all that easy, and you've had to walk through a lot of stuff to get to here. One of the reasons why you cut through so quickly and see beneath people's masks so quickly is because you are able to match energies. You read best for people that you have had similar experiences with. You've had father issues to work through and mother issues. More on father than mother. Do you have a brother?
No.
Who is there's a male in your life that was like a brother figure to you?
My twin brother.
Ah, okay.
But he died while I was being carried.
Bizarre. He's still hanging around. Still part of you somehow. That's very strange. It's almost as if he's still alive for you. And that was one of the pains that you still carry. That's bizarre. You don't even know him, and yet he's still there. One of your biggest issues growing up was an anger issue. Took you a long time to work that one through, and how to deal with anger appropriately. I'm getting a really strong sense that a lot of the anger was directed at your father. The family was a bit dysfunctional, I think. But because of the pain, you became more able to understand other people's pain. And instead of beating around the bush, you get straight to the heart of it. That's why you're able to do it, because you've been there, you've walked that path.
You're very good. What do you do? You do this for a living?
Besides teaching, yeah.
What do you teach?
English.
Anyone who can read that clearly should be able to tell when someone isn't right for you.
If there were ever such a thing as a soulmate, I thought I found it in him.
Yeah, but there was a need for that.
I know there was a need, but it was more than that. I was more afraid than you can imagine. I don't trust easily.
I understand.
And it
Afraid
wasn't
of
just I've had transitional men during the marriage. I mean, I won't lie to you. I've had a number of affairs during the marriage.
But you know what he was? He was the transitional man who wasn't the transitional man. He was the one you finally broke out with. And that's also a transitional person.
He was everything I ever looked for in a man. He was my intellectual equal.
But he turned out to be nothing you could ever have.
Yeah.
So,
and I can't stop the pain. I've worked through all the good books. You know, I know all the books. I refer my clients to them. I've done How to Survive the Loss of the Love. But the pain doesn't go away.
Well, it will. You have to admit your own weakness here and your own blind spots, and the pain will fade.
I hope so. It's been a long time. It's been 10 months.
Well, it's like a death.
Oh, believe me, when we met, we met through psychic fair, and he told me in the reading that I'd have a reunion within 2 weeks, and it would be like a near-death experience. He didn't tell me he was it. And he was it.
But he might have been making his own prophecy come true, and he may have been using you a little.
Perhaps, but I don't think so.
Well, I know you don't, but he may have been, this may have been a power issue with him as much as anything else.
You mean control?
Yeah.
That's possible.
I'm sorry you're hurting, but I'm glad you're growing.
Yes, and you are too.
I know. So together we're going to make it.
Yeah, and you do good things.
You do too.
Through your pain, and you grow. You're an important person to a lot of people, and you need to do what you do.
Do you want to do the sign off to the station break?
Sure.
Say we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
We will be. You wait.